order of the regular meeting of November 19th, 2015 of the Coffee County Board of Education. I'd like to introduce Naval Junior ROTC cadets, Lieutenant Junior Grade Juan Martinez and Ensign Kevin Martinez, and they'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag.
With allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order. Mark.
Before we have our invocation, I'd like to ask we just take a few minutes or a few seconds to have a moment of silence for the victims in Paris. You'll just bow your heads for a minute. Thank you. Mr. Sam Vernon from First United Methodist Church is here to lead us in our invocation.
Let's pray. Gracious Father, we just ask your blessing on our Board of Education members. We ask that you give them discernment on all the decisions they have to make that affects hundreds of lives. Father, in this day and age we live in, we would be remiss to not pray for your constant watch, care, and protection over our Coffee County school system. We pray for the safety of our students, faculty, parents, administrators, coaches, all personnel of the Coffee County school system, every hour of every day, of every week, of every month, of every season, and we thank you that you are already looking after them. Father, as you know, big football game tomorrow night. We pray traveling mercies for our visitors from Cal. And Father, win or lose, we pray that our athletes and our coaches would represent us properly as Coffee County on and off the field. Finally, Lord, as we stand on the cusp of Thanksgiving, whether it's for the first time or we're reminded again, I pray that all the folks that are part of the Coffee County school system family would understand that all our blessings come directly or indirectly from you. It's in your Son, Jesus Christ's precious name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank y'all.
All right, everyone had a chance to look over the agenda.
We need to add the dugout for this facility.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've made some adjustments to the agenda. On keyboard, you will find, if you go down to the consent agenda, Dr. Newell, if you'll scroll down, for our visitors who are here, we've amended our agenda. It may not be on your paper copy. If you have a pencil or pen and want to amend your agenda that you have in the audience, we've amended our official agenda to add baseball boosters as an item on the consent agenda.
All right, can we get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Thank you. I'd like to welcome all of our visitors here tonight. We have a nice crowd. Thank you for being here. And to remember our mission as a school system, which is destination graduation for college, career, and life. And it's nice seeing all these students here who are doing exciting things in our schools, and we're going to recognize y'all. So thank you for what you're doing to make our mission a reality here in Coffee County. Destination graduation for college, career, and life. And also our vision of an equitable and excellent education for all of our students. We talk about that a lot with our staff and with our students, that we want to strive for excellence in everything that we do here in Coffee County. So thank you for being here and being a part of this, and thank you for your patience. Thank you. Governance and leadership, we have special recognitions tonight. Our first special recognition is our cross-country team, especially our cross-country region champions. So Coach Reed, if you want to come on up and introduce our region champion, Cody Reed.
Hello, everybody. This is Cody Reed. I'm Coach Smith. I'm the cross-country coach for. This is Cody. Last year, he competed in the regions and he finished second. And over the summer, he put in 130 miles of running, and then probably another 130 miles during the season. And they told me this year that he was going to become first, and got a Florida sticker on the back of my truck because of it. But that was the deal. If he was first, I was the Florida Gator fan, and if he wasn't, he was a Georgia fan. So, anyway, put in a lot of hard work. He beat the second place runner by about 15 seconds. He ran a 17:54. His best time this year is a 17:04. So a lot of hard work goes into cross country. It gets confused a lot with track, but it's not track at all. We're never on a track. We're through the woods, up and down hills. It's pretty intense. So just want to congratulate him on his hard work and effort this year.
Cody, how many miles a day do you run?
Usually 5.
Do you run with the coach?
Sometimes.
Region champion, that's awesome. Cody Reed, great job. All right, our next recognition is CTAE, student recognitions. We have Mr. Brad Reiner here tonight, who is our CTAE director for the Coffee County School System. And we have some wonderful news about some of our students involved in various programs. So, Mr. Reiner.
Thank you, Dr. Lees. Thank you, members of the board. Somebody said a minute ago, I thought you just ad-libbed everything. When I'm not naming people, I don't mind talking off the cuff, but I'm going to read from the paper tonight. We've had some wonderful successes already this year in CTAE. We've already had area career development events. We're going to say CDEs from now on, so don't get confused. Those are in agriculture. We've also had the Georgia National Fair, where we competed in many different areas, and we had a state health IT app competition. Now, not a lot of people understand that fine arts also falls under CTAE umbrella, so we'll be recognizing visual arts tonight as well. First, I want to introduce the teachers of the students and let them be recognized. Some of them are able to be here with us this evening. Some of them are gone to other places. We've got teachers in Oklahoma. We've got teachers in Tifton. We've got teachers all over everywhere with students. First, our ag teachers and FFA advisors, Mr. Michael Berry, David Atkinson, Joshua Rogers, Courtney Branch, and Jamie Stodgel. If you'll stand, if you're here, and remain standing until everybody has been recognized. Now, our family and consumer science teachers and FCCLA advisors, Tara Carver, Jewel Ross, Lee Roberts, and Renee Robertson. Next, business and computer science teachers and FBLA advisors, Deborah Patton and Denise Fountain. And finally, our art teacher extraordinaire from Coffee High School, Julie Lord. A large part of our student success is because of these teachers who spend so much time both inside and outside the classroom with them. And I want to say thank you very much to these teachers. We have quite a few students to be recognized. So students, when I call your name, you step up here and go down there and stand in front of Dr. Lees so nobody can see him. And you'll just stack it around this way, okay? We're going to start. This is in alphabetical order, so not all team members will be right together in all cases. But first is Elena Atkinson. Elena received the Grand Champion in Floral Design at the Georgia National Fair. Erica Birch got third place in the peanut recipe at the Georgia National Fair. Cameron Carver, champion Breeders Group and champion Shorthorn Plus Heifer at the Georgia National Fair. Adrian Cofield, FCCLA Fair Booth third place at the Georgia National Fair. Kate Day, third place Commercial Junior Heifer at Georgia National Fair. Adrian Fletcher, first place meets evaluation team in the Area 6 CDE. This team advances to state competition. Bryce Greer, first place meets evaluation team in the Area 6 CDE, also advancing to state competition. Diana Hayes, first place FCCLA Fair booth at the Georgia National Fair. Daniel Hughes, youth art competition at Georgia National Fair, and I don't think he left many ribbons for anyone else. This young man got first place in charcoal drawing, best in category, Youth Art Merit Award, Youth Art Award of Excellence, and first place pen and ink. Hannah Kitchens, who got first place dough and showmanship champion at the Georgia National Fair. Jackson Lott, first place meets evaluation team in the Area 6 CDE. He also had the first high individual score. Vincent Naini, FCCLA Fair booth, third place at Georgia National Fair. Garrett Mansell, first place meets evaluation team at Area 6 CDE. Stephanie Parsons, youth art competition at the Georgia National Fair. She received third place in photography. Mafuza Patel, she is part of our FBLA Health IT Team state winners. Parth Patel, also part of our FBLA IT Team state winner. Nidhi Patel, FBLA Health IT Team state winner. Anoop Patel, FBLA Health IT Team state winner. Jessica Rathbun, youth art competition at Georgia National Fair, third place in drawing. Adriana Rivero, Georgia National Fair Goat Show, first place weather. Hannah Spivey, land judging at Area 6 CDE. She was a third high individual. These next two are not here this evening. Abby Vaughn, who received the floral design in Area 6 CDE. She was first place and advances to state. And Kara Vaughn, also in floral design in Area 6 CDE. She was second place. Abby and Kara are at another floral design workshop today with Ms. Branch. So they're busy improving their craft. And last but not least, I have Jordan Wright, meets evaluation team, Area 6 CDE, first place. And he was the second high individual. Ladies and gentlemen, please give this group another big round of applause.
Y'all stay right here for a second.
This
Stay
is
right
a
here
great
for 1 second.
segue. This is
All right.
Congratulations to all of you. Throughout this week, we have been celebrating American Education Week throughout our schools and all across the United States. It's a celebration of our success stories in our school system, and tonight is a perfect example of that. In addition to celebrating our students, we're celebrating everyone in our school system that supports our students, certainly our teachers. If you've ridden through the community this week, you've seen the sign, if you can read this, thank a teacher. What a better saying than that. It's so nice to see that, and we thank our business partners for that. So we're celebrating our students and our staff. But there's another group of individuals that I would like to recognize, and I've wanted to do this for a long time because they play an important role in our school system. Ms. Yvonne Clay, if you'll come up here for just a minute, please. Ms. Clay is a retired educator in our school system. She retired and then she came back and worked 49% because she loved it so much in special education. She also was a recruiter with me for many years, traveling to colleges and universities, helping me recruit special ed teachers. And she didn't really know why I was inviting her tonight, but she is the president of the Coffee County Retired Teachers Association. This group of individuals, men and women, they may have retired from their full-time job, but they still give of themselves 100%. Their most recent project, the Brown Bag Project, they meet in this office several times throughout the year and in their homes, and they put snacks in brown bags for children so they won't go hungry during the holidays. That's just one of the many things that they do. So tonight, we are presenting the Superintendent's Award to the Coffee County Retired Teachers Association for their dedication and commitment to the boys and girls of the Coffee County Schools in celebration of American Education Week 2015.
Don't believe it.
At this time, we will continue our meeting. Thank you all for coming. We appreciate you being here tonight. And you're welcome to stay for the business section. Learn more about the system if you want, but if not, thank y'all for coming. At this time, we want to give a state of the system update. We have Dr. Joy Perrin, our Director of Assessment, Accountability, and Professional Learning, and she's going to provide our board and our public with updates of system level data and results that we've gotten recently from the state. So Dr. Perrin, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Madam Chairman, Board, Dr. Lease. Like Dr. Lease said, I wanted to give you a quick update on where we are as far as the data that's come in. But I do want to remind you, and Dr. Lease starts every meeting with this, our mission and vision. Destination for college, career, and life. And it's important to look under that where it says a mission is the purpose for which we exist as a school system. So as we go through this, we really want to look at, are we meeting that vision? And if so, how are we doing that? I remind you that, and in every meeting that I go to, I remind everyone that we have 9 goals that we as a system strive to implement. And our data is going to reflect that. So how are we doing? Graduation rate. Hopefully you read the newspaper. It's the highest ever at 80.4. And yes, I said 80.4. That is a significant increase. That shows all the work that we've done under your guidance, under your Dr. Lisa's leadership, and the hard work of our teachers, our leaders, and our students. That's a big gain in the last couple of years. We are very proud of that. How does that compare to the state? The state's line is in black and we're in blue. So you will see that we're outperforming the state as we move forward. How does it look broken down over the system? We graduated 397 students this year at Coffee High School and 39 students at the Career Academy for a total of 436 students. And you see the increases in the graduation rate. Mr. Gillis was here earlier talking about they've really kind of figured out their niche at the Career Academy, and we can tell that. Look at the increase in their graduation rate, 22%. That's huge. If you look at career academies around the state, they're still hovering where we started at, and we're making all those gains. And it's all the things that we have in place for our students. Bernie and I recently went to a SACS training to kind of, that's coming back up in a couple of years, and you don't just wait till the last minute to look at it. But one of the things that they talk about at SACS is how are you doing on meeting your mission and vision? It's not about just test scores. It's about what opportunities are you providing for your students to help them advance. So I pulled together some of that data. So we're gonna look at advanced learning opportunities and recognitions. Look at that big group of kids right there. That's 37 students that interned out in our community last summer. That's huge. We're preparing them for college, career, and life. This is what it's all about. Some other numbers, dual enrollment. In 2013, we had 71 students dually enrolled. In 2015, we had 269. That's providing those opportunities. Again, I talked about the summer STEM intern. We started out the first summer with 12. It grew to 37. And we have more businesses now interested in it, so I think it's going to grow even more. Work-based learning, in 2013, 178. Now we're up to 186. Career and college enrollment, that continues to grow, and I think with the vision that we have for that campus and putting it on the Wiregrass campus, it's going to even expand. How do they do in advanced placement and SAT and PSAT? That continues to grow. The students that we have in AP, you know that we were recently recognized as an AP District Honor Roll for participation and scores. And we have a lot of more AP scholars. And when you talk about what is an AP scholar, that's they score 3 or higher on at least 3 AP exams. Zell Miller scholars, that's doubled. 12 in 2013 to 23 last year. Move on and ready students, you see the numbers there. They just keep growing. Reach scholarship. And let me remind you what that is. That scholarships, we target 8th grade students that have never been there. Nobody in their family has ever been to college. They're at risk. But we're going to provide them with that scholarship if they stay on track, and they're pretty much their college is paid for. And we do 5 students every year and continue to do that. That's opening the doors for these students that may have never had an opportunity to go on. Hope Scholarship eligible, you see we continue to grow in that category. How are we doing across the board? Well, you know that every year our schools get recognized as high performing or high progress. We have no schools, and you can take one of these and pass it. We have no schools that are, what do we call them?
Focus.
Priority or focus, yes. And with our graduation rate and how we're increasing the achievement gap, I don't see us having any on it this year. And what I passed out to you is just the criteria. What determines a priority and focus school, what determines a reward, a high progress and a high reward school. We do look at performance measures. We've recently got our last spring numbers, spring of 2015. And the reason that we've just gotten them is because that was a new test. It was a more rigorous test. They took their time to set new performance targets. This is how we did. You can kind of tell the green. We had certainly a lot more green than other areas. But that just tells you how we did compared to the state. We were either at or above the state in the majority of the areas. One of the things we're extremely proud of is the Lexile scores. And as you know, every school in our system developed a literacy plan to go along with our literacy initiative. And they really concentrated on growing that reading growth. And we can tell that in our scores. That's end of grade. End of grade is 3rd through 8th grade. End of course. End of course is given 3 times. It's winter, spring, and summer. We don't have the summer scores yet. End of course is 9th grade through 12th grade. It does count as 20% of that student's class, although it doesn't count last year. None of these scores count from last year because that was the baseline year. When they take it this year, it will count.
Do you think the scores will be about the same, or?
I
No way to know.
think they're going to increase. I really do. I think we've learned a lot in the last since spring of last year, and I think we continue to move forward. There are pockets that we definitely need to work on, and all of the schools are bringing their teachers in and working with them on looking at the data and analyzing which domains we need to concentrate on.
Would you flip to go back one more time? Okay.
Last month, Bernie gave you an overview of Lexile scores across the system. This was one of the slides that she used. You asked her to gather information on 3rd, 5th, and 8th. And this is 3rd, 5th, and 8th, and we see the same growth in that. The ones in below basic, that number is going down, and basic is going down, and proficient and advanced is increasing. And one of the things that we looked at was, how does this Lexile compare to the Lexile that the state does? And we're seeing growth in both areas.
Have you looked at, and I'm sure, I think one of those had the Lexile, in the Lexile percentage in the content areas, like in science and social studies, are those increasing?
We do see that, that the standards are changing, so they're looking at that as well. And, yeah, I mean, that's
Because
something.
that's where they see the biggest problems with the reading levels is in the content areas.
Right.
And the reading, reading books are not.
Right, we get that Lexile score up, that's gonna help across the
Or
content.
didn't one of those show the Lexile scores for in the subject area or not? Or did I read it wrong?
No, they just have one Lexile score.
Okay, and it's just done in reading.
Right.
Just
That
as a
Lexile
reading
is
comprehension score.
off the ELA test. It's part of the ELA test. Okay. I know that was short and sweet. You have any questions?
Thank you. I really appreciate the way you put that together, the data with the wheels and the 4-point data. That's a tremendous report, really is. And I think it's evidence of the work of our teachers. And this is National Education Appreciation Week. So I just want to thank our teachers out there who have been a part of making this happen. Our graduation rate, it didn't just happen. That's been an accumulation of work over years and years and years, and people who've committed themselves to this mission, much like our board members who've been committed to this mission for years. Some of you actually in the classroom for years who committed your careers to it. We've got staff who have been at this for a long time, and I think that getting above 80% graduation rate is a reflection of that work and that commitment that's been going on for a long time here in Coffee County. I think we can either look at our mission of destination graduation for college, career, and life and go back and look at back in the mid-2000s when Dr. Edwin Davis was here and he promoted destination graduation and kind of coined that phrase, and we adopted that as a motto here in Coffee County. You can still drive down the streets at certain times of the year and you'll see those banners up on the post. So that's been important to this community for a long time. There's been generations of educators who've been committed to it, and I just think the success that we're seeing is a reflection of that work and that dedication that's been going on in this school system for a long, long time. So thank you for everything that y'all done. We've got a great team. We've got great teachers. We've got a great community, and I think the data shows it. So thank y'all. All right. Policies. We brought to the board last week or last month a suggested policy change dealing with interscholastic activities, grades 6 through 12. We brought that to the board for consideration. If you'll scroll down, we took the feedback that we received last time we met, and essentially what we were trying to achieve, we think we summed that up in the statement at the very end of this policy. Fifth grade students may participate in middle school athletics with the principal's approval. The one change I would make to that would be with the middle school principal's approval and the elementary school principal's approval. That way you include both the middle school and elementary school principal. But
you know, the whole point of this was to have some sort of policy you could refer people back to. And I don't have a problem with it reading like this, as long as the principal sits down and makes a policy of what she's going to allow and not allow. But there needs to be somewhere when people ask you, instead of just saying, go ask the principal, there should be a policy somewhere that we can pull up and show them, here's what we're doing. And I don't have a problem if you're going to say, let the middle school principal decide, that's fine. But then she needs to come up with some sort of policy how she's going to do it to be consistent, you know. Because each sport's going to have to be treated different. I mean, each sport is a little different when you start talking about fifth grade. You got some that really, you know, isn't going to mess up their being able to go to region and state type of stuff. Some will, some won't.
for middle school,
Well, in some of the competitions, they were saying that certain, the fifth graders couldn't participate in like a region something or whatever. They would have to address that. Some sports that are non-contact, I don't really have a problem with fifth graders participating, but there's some that are contact, like football and all, unless the kid's age prohibits him from playing. Also, you've got rec stuff. You know, you're gonna say, well, if he's in fifth grade and he just doesn't want to play rec, he can go play with middle school. I mean, you see what I'm saying? You have to open up a whole can of worms unless we've got something written down how we're gonna address all that.
I'm scared they're gonna supplant the sixth grader.
Well,
how do you get to the sixth grade?
My point is, at some point, we gotta have a policy of what we're dealing with instead of just saying, well, you know, leave it up to principal. I think
What we're doing
Why
now,
did this come up?
they don't participate in middle school,
Why
right?
did this come up?
there are some
There
that
have
do
been some
sometimes.
over the last few years that have participated. Now, some of them, when you're in fifth grade with, it doesn't happen in baseball, but with football, certain birthdays fall on a point where they can't play rec ball. They've been allowed to play with sixth grade because they were too old to play rec ball. Fine with that. But you're just gonna let any fifth grader play? You see what I mean? Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we need a policy to deal with those situations.
The simplest thing is leave it like it is, they don't play.
Yeah, if
But
there's,
some of them are right now. That's what I'm
They
saying.
shouldn't be.
Well, if they're over, if they can't
No,
play,
at the end of fifth grade,
Yeah.
they don't play in middle school, they're not in middle school, that's simple.
that would be fine with me.
That's my opinion.
you didn't play a seventh grader on the varsity team?
But what about the kid, like I say, that's got a June birthday, and he's in the fifth grade, and he's not allowed to play football regularly because of his birthday?
Then he can wait a year.
Those are the ones that have to
Well,
play.
wait a year.
What if you want to be in the band?
And I don't care, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
We just need
But
a
you open up a
policy.
can of worms like you said with all that.
That's my point. I don't
Plain and
care,
simple, if you're in middle school, you play middle school, if you don't, if you're not, you don't.
I don't care what they
I mean, we
decide
got,
to
we
allow,
got
not
some that
allow.
need to be in the seventh grade, that's in elementary school now.
I'm just saying, I don't care what they allow and don't allow, we just need a policy to state that.
Yeah.
Because people keep asking me, and I don't want to tell them, I don't know, well, you know.
Well, it's really just been the coach's discretion.
And that's part of the problem too. I think we've had some that
You don't
have
do
let kids play, and then if they're gonna do
You
that,
got a
they
kid
got
in the
to.
sixth grade and he gets cut because the fifth grader can play a little better than him, that's not right. Not to me.
But you had some also that went and allowed a few fifth graders to play, but they didn't advertise all fifth grade. You see what I'm saying? There's a whole-
Well, they shouldn't, that's the reason we need to
My
correct
point.
if they don't do
That's
it.
why, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why
I
I
would
need
be
some.
more, I like your idea that they don't participate at the
Until the
middle
grade.
school, until they're in sixth
Until
grade.
they're in
But
that
the
grade.
only problem with that is that it's the child who
I
is
still
over age.
think the birthday.
You're not gonna have that many.
Yeah.
You'll have probably,
But then you open the can of worms, when you make exceptions, that's when you open the can of worms.
They can't be in the band until they get to the sixth grade. And if, no matter how, they might play an instrument at home, great, but they gotta wait till they get to the sixth grade play to be in band. What's the difference?
I mean, we got two more board members here that's not saying anything. I'm sure they have an opinion.
I was always too small to play anything.
I'm not gonna say, I don't wanna make the rules. I just want.
But my uncle held his youngins back. Not the uncle who lives here, the other uncle in America, held his kids back so they'd be bigger than everybody else.
When they got there.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, I don't wanna make rules, but I think we need
Right.
some.
I think our responsibility here is to set a policy that does provide guidance for the people that this comes under, you know, whether it's our coaches or our principals. And are we harming any students by not letting fifth graders participate at sixth grade level sports? Is that hurting anybody?
And you go hurt a sixth grader and get you kicked out.
Well,
Maybe that fifth grader's a little better.
I think there's always been a hierarchy of waiting your turn. I think that leads to self-discipline. I think that leads to, when I get to that level, I mean, I did things when I was in junior high school and high school that did require me to wait until I was a sophomore. It did require me to wait until I was a junior or senior. You know, it wasn't necessarily sporting events. I mean, I played golf and you know, we had to qualify, but you weren't on the varsity team until you were in high school, you know, and then you didn't get a letter unless you were scored in so many rounds. I mean, there's got to be some incentive, and I think if you just leave it where if you're in the fifth grade, you play fifth grade, or participate in fifth grade activities. And once you're in sixth grade, I'm okay with that. I think I'm like Mr. Jowers, if you start monkeying with it, then you're going to have exception after exception come up. And then you're going to have, well, that was not fair to this child, or it wasn't fair to this child, or this adult got involved, and whether it's a coach or a principal, or I think that leads to hard feelings. I don't think anything leads to hard feelings by just simply setting the grade level participation. Is that right? Is that my?
Well,
So you play by
and
grade level.
the comments
Well,
that
I mean,
we received
all participate.
from GSBA was that we make sure that we do allow access to all fifth graders if we're going to allow. So therefore, that would predicate rules and policies and more rules and policies. So if we do just say that it's middle school athletics, middle school students can participate, that does make it cut and dry and very simple. I'm fine.
We have plenty of problems
Yeah.
without creating.
That's right.
Now, is this the first, we're putting this on the table for,
Yeah.
let me ask you, we're putting this on the table tonight for public.
Well, I was bringing it forward to see if it would make it onto the table. So if it's not going to make it onto the table, then we won't even.
Says fifth grade can't, so it will have to be redone.
Okay, what does it say now? What are we saying?
Right now, it just ends, it ends under activity. That part that's highlighted is not even on there. So that was,
It's not addressed. That's
it's been interpreted over the years that it doesn't say fifth graders can, it doesn't say fifth graders can't. So therefore, example, a child may be a really good
What
golfer.
does that last sentence say? To be eligible for participation, an individual must be enrolled full-time in the school that sponsors a competitive activity. And I pretty well covered.
Yeah, that is.
I
That's
believe
pretty
that
clear.
covers it.
Yeah.
You ain't in sixth grade, you ain't in sixth grade
That's right.
school, you ain't in sixth
When we
grade.
first started
How
talking
clear-
about this, I
how
talked to
clear
the lady
did
at that wrote the policy, and well, the group that wrote it, and they basically said that it was not really meant for fifth graders to play. But they said since we were a charter school system, we had that ability to go and change that and do it if we wanted to. But their intentions writing this policy were from sixth to eighth grade. I still think you're gonna get in though, there are gonna be some because of an age deal that you're gonna
They're
have
not in the
some-
grade that the schools.
I understand, but they don't qualify for any kind of recreation fifth grade
Well,
activity.
wait a year.
I'm just saying,
You can't drive till you're 16.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is they're gonna say, well, we can't
Wait a
play,
year.
fifth
won't
grade
kill 'em.
football rec department, and yet we can't play so we just have to sit out of here. I'm just telling you, you're gonna have some people mad about that.
Well, I can have a lot of things.
I'm just stating everything while we're sitting here, I'm fine with just making a policy.
We're not changing it, we just leave it like it is. We're
Yeah,
not
we're
changing
not
it.
doing anything. That's
That's what
right.
it
It's just what it
says.
is.
It already is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I think, but the issue is that we are allowing, there is some participation.
We're allowing it.
That won't happen
Yeah.
anymore, yeah, that won't happen
Not
anymore. It'd be
we.
clear
I
that
say
that's,
we, I'm talking about us as a citizen.
it'd be clear that
I'm
that's
saying
not, that's not what's gonna happen.
I'm like Mr. Jowers, that bottom line's pretty frank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this whole thing got started by them trying to interpret this policy themselves and arguing over what it meant. And that's why I said, well, maybe we need to come up with something that states, here's what we're gonna do.
That's pretty plain, that last
Yeah, that
sentence there.
is, yeah.
Thank
That's
you,
right.
Mr. Jones.
That'll be it.
You know, and I hate to bring it up, but I think it goes to that situation where we hear about from time to time about the career academy. I mean, that, if you're enrolled in the career academy and they don't have any participation in anything, then they don't participate. I mean, if they don't have something, then they don't.
All right.
So, I mean,
All right. Well, all right. That takes care of it. Yeah, that takes care of it. Good. All right. The other policy discussion that we were gonna have was the, bus discipline. In our last meeting, we talked about the potential to look at the suspension of students from the bus and look at, I don't have an attachment there, Chairman, so it's just a discussion on bus discipline. The idea that we give the administration at the school level, the principal or assistant principal who deals with it, some discretion on handling suspension of students. For example, if two kindergartners get in a fight, it says 30 days off the bus, and there's a thought that, well, two 6-year-olds, really, they're not doing a whole lot of damage to each other. And
Talking about while they're on the bus or off the bus?
Yeah, while they're on the bus.
You got to realize it's a safety issue, man, with that
Yes,
bus
sir.
driver. If those kids get to tussling back there,
That's right.
you need to drive the bus with those kids on there and let them get into it.
Yes, sir.
I've experienced a situation that I had some older kids on the bus, and they went to hollering, and when I looked up to see what was going on, when I looked back down, that bus had just swerved over to the other lane. So,
Yes, sir.
of course, I handled it. I didn't turn that in. I handled it. It didn't happen anymore.
Yeah.
But it could have very easily been a bad situation.
You said they were older
These
students.
were older kids that did on this. They just screamed at the top of their
Right.
lungs for no reason.
I think that, he wants them to be able to let the administrators know if it's an age appropriate
But I
discipline.
can understand, y'all just need to realize we've got a lot of issues already with bus discipline and bus drivers and stuff. And, we don't want to back them up, not cut them off. When they turn the kid in, they want to know they're going to get some relief
Definitely.
for a little while.
Mhm.
I mean,
Would you think though that most of the fights don't, what age group do they usually come in? Would you say middle school? Yeah.
yeah, I do
every
that
age.
any of them.
But I mean, the majority.
I had a first grader had a pencil out trying to job people on the bus one day. I had to pull over and stop and get it.
Well, see, and then you get down to, how severe is some
And
kind
see, I
of
think
stuff.
and I think that goes back to your bus driver too. Your bus driver, I mean, if it's something like that, they're gonna turn it in. If it's something minor, and he knows they're gonna get suspended for 30 days, he may say, you know what, that wasn't that bad, y'all cut it out and move on, like he just said. That goes back to your bus driver having to do it.
It's not a lot of kids probably that want that kind, but
Do we offer a class in
you got to
combination?
have some kind of deterrent. And that's all the bus drivers got. Go ahead, Ron.
Mr. Johnson?
Thank you. Anytime kids fight on the bus, it's a safety issue. Okay, but when you got 2 5-year-olds that play together every day, get 30 days, that's too harsh. I think, in my opinion, principal, assistant principal, Dr. Banks, Dana Ware, Dr. Banks, between those folks, they should be able to come up with some 10 days, 5 days, not 30. Those parents have to take on work to take those kids to school, and that's the biggest problem that I hear from them. And I kind of agree with them. We need some kind of change of command from the principal to him, with Dana Ware in the middle, and then Dr. Lee's. They can't solve it, they can solve it. But we gotta have something in place just saying 30 days you off the bus. My wife tells me things, I check behind her. That camera don't lie. That right there, it don't lie. Do the parents have the right to see the camera, Dr. Lee?
Typically, no, we don't get involved or don't do the camera.
Normally not.
Normally not, because it bothers other kids.
Okay, so if you don't have that link to the parents, you're gonna have a problem. That's the biggest problem. Parents have to be to work at 6 o'clock. They can't go to work at 7:30 because they got 30 days off. 5 days. Pick the age bracket you want to deal with. 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 16 to 17. Have a penalty from all of them at their discretion. You know,
Well, that was our.
and they're following the policy, but the policy got to be changed.
Well, when we did the 30 days for elementary school students, we talked about putting a statement in there that said the principal may use discretion for elementary students. And at the final press, before it went to print, that got taken out in one last meeting that we had. But I really think that should be there. I think if a principal knows about a child, they may know something about the child, personal circumstances, that may be a mitigating circumstance that allows.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yes, sir.
If you don't, they just need, and I think most of them do, they got to support your bus driver. We can't
I
hardly get
agree.
them out.
I agree 100%.
So,
What if you had in there that the principal can go in there and look at it and change it if they feel like something on the first offense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
that.
Second time, it's on them.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
write that down.
Find the cue.
And that way they do have one option that,
That's a good
when the
idea.
first time they get in trouble, principal say, hey, it was this, they can go back there and take that back. Second time, it's on them.
Well, that's,
The penalty is too harsh, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I agree with all that. I support the bus driver too. But the penalty, 30 days, they don't get that much time on probation.
Dr.
The
Banks,
city.
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying, if we can reduce the punishment, I ain't saying not punish them, but reduce it. Let's not give them that many days. After 4 or 5 days, I get it. They get it too,
Yes, sir.
you know.
some of them don't.
Well,
But they ain't very many that don't.
That's what I'm saying. Just a handful.
They don't want to go to school no way.
that's right. It's just a handful of them. I ain't saying not punish them now. Don't misunderstand me. I'm saying it's too harsh.
Well, we had talked about a statement that we would propose. Did you have something written down?
Statement that I wrote down was the school or district administration may use discretion when assigning bus suspension if there are mitigating circumstances. And I think that part of the thing here, I guess one of the concerns originated probably the first couple of weeks of school. We had a pre-K and probably a kindergarten student got into a little tussle on the bus. They lived in the same neighborhood. They were suspended 30 days off the bus. Okay, this was while the bus was in motion. Then we had a situation in Broxton, probably about a week later, where we had probably first and second graders were fighting on the bus before the bus departed Broxton campus. And they were suspended off the bus for about 30 days. So after the week lapse of from the first situation, getting 30 days, then I didn't feel the discretion at that time to change what the consequence actually was issued out, because it was printed in the handbook that first offense for fighting is 30 days. But as I progressed into the semester and different things started to happen in bus situations, I felt that with some of the family situations, and you can take it on a case-by-case scenario, I felt that 30 days, you put that family at a strain for 6 weeks before that kid can even get back on the bus again. And then sometimes what falls in or comes into play is you have the principal having to stay later at the school for the parent to actually pick the child up. So in those situations, I think that when you give the school or district administration the liberty to say, well, let's go back and alter or reassign or adjust or modify the days that we're gonna have out, I don't think that there should be a problem in that. I think that the policy can stay as is, but we need to have discretion at the school level or anywhere or myself to go in and change and say, well, we're gonna alter this, this consequence because it's not fitting the needs of that particular parent. Then sometimes what's actually also happening is kids, parents will say, well, I can't get them there. So then you get into an attendance issue. And then you got CCRPI that we all on a tight realm of operation with. So when you have all those parameters being into play, then you try to make the most feasible resolution to the problem that you can. And sometimes you have to alter what the consequence is. So I mean, I can talk about. Yes, sir.
Those two kids that's fighting, they're not just affecting themselves, they're affecting everybody on that bus.
Yes, sir.
So, if something happens,
I'm in agreement with
because
that.
we were a little too lenient, and we all gonna have to live with it. Nothing happened yet, thank goodness, but you don't never know.
And I agree with you, Mr. Jarvis, but I'm just trying to think through this, and I just have a feeling that when, maybe this was being written, that 30 days, in your mind, you're thinking, okay, then we're gonna kick them off for a month. But in reality, 30 days is 6 weeks of school, and that's different than a month.
If it was my kid, you know what I do? I made that principal wait every day, so I feel like I want to go pick them up.
Just don't give me any of this.
I'm just saying, that's what I would do. I'm just being honest.
I think if you're gonna do anything, leave it like it is. If that bus is in motion, if it's sitting still, there's not as much danger there. When that bus is rolling, I mean, there's enough safety issues anyway, regardless. You just have to get behind that wheel to understand it.
Can I ask a question?
Mr. Johnson?
First offense, how many days?
First offense for fighting on the bus is 30 days.
It's 30 days no matter what.
Second offense is what?
Second offense, 90 days,
wow.
90 days.
Third offense is what?
180.
Okay,
Year.
that's a whole year. Okay.
That's fighting now, that's
I'm
That's
saying
just
fighting.
fine.
Just fighting. Okay, first offense, in my opinion, we take it down to 10 for K through 5th grade. 10. Middle school, 15. High school, 18. See, you meet them halfway. I ain't saying not give them no punishment. I'm saying cut it down. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I like the idea of the discretion, give the principal discretion to use.
But cut it down.
Yes, sir.
That's all I'm saying. 'Cause, I understand the bus driver has to drive that bus. Don't think I'm asleep. But I'm saying, cut it down. That's all I'm asking.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, if you give in elementary school, the first offense, they have discretion. That's on them.
Yeah.
But there would need to be a mitigating circumstance.
Yeah.
If it's two elementary schools that get a knockdown drag out on the
That's what
bus,
I'm
they're on
saying.
the bus for.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, refer back to the policy.
Yeah.
Or if they take a pencil and stab somebody,
Every
They don't get back on
situation
the bus.
is different, but I think you give the principals some discretion to make a decision in the best interest of the child.
If mine got kicked off that bus for 30 days, I guarantee you,
Wouldn't happen again.
it wouldn't happen again. I know.
If I could on this one.
Yes.
And what Mr. Lott just said is where our discussion ended and why that policy was made. And it all dwelled upon the fact that if we didn't get the attention of the parents, there wasn't going to be anything that changed in the behavior of that child. Now, I kind of guess, when you just said 30 days, because I'm thinking 30 days is a month. But when it's 6 weeks of school time for a K-5 child, okay, that's probably a little extreme. But it's still got to be something enough that it respects what the bus driver does every day on that bus. Because if we go into the principal situation that's waiting a long time because they've been discreet enough to decide they need that punishment, okay, the principals use that punishment, and then that parent decides they're just going to wait around to come to school, that parent may need a prayer meeting at some point. But then you're going to have some some disgruntled, between the principal and the bus driver. The principal's gonna go, dang it, I shouldn't have suspended that kid as long as I had, because their parents making me wait at school. And then the next time the bus driver turns one in, what's the principal gonna do?
That principal-
Okay, so we don't need to go down that road. I do think we need to look at the length of time, because the idea of 30 days is a month. But it's gotta be something impactful that backs up, the folks that haul these kids every day.
I want back.
And that's where it came from, was the discussion was something burdensome's got to be put on the parents.
I agree with you.
It's not as harsh as Mr. Jowers is mentioning, which we could end up with a situation where we at the hospital with a child, or we at the hospital with an oncoming driver, or we're at the funeral with somebody.
Okay, let me rephrase.
So
myself.
it needs to be something strong.
Not, well, that's too strong, in my opinion. I ain't saying not do nothing now. But I'm saying, cut it down, cut it in half. Because what can 2 5-year-olds do when they fight on the bus, an hour later they're in the yard playing? They all live in the same neighborhood. They don't know, the only thing they know they playing.
If you leave it to the discretion of the principal, they don't necessarily have to give them the 30 days.
That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
In
They can
between-
make a decision that makes sense.
They may not give them 15.
Like
Yeah.
it's like
But
they
the
say,
option is there.
That's right.
yeah, they can say you deserve 30, or you know what, you deserve 20. I mean, they
More than likely, I would
Yeah.
expect them to uphold the 30, unless there's some sort of circumstance like it was 2 5-year-olds
Yeah.
that really weren't gonna get.
And then with Mr. Jowers, as far as the safety on that bus, you have some situations sometimes where, all right, this bus driver has to pull over to the side of the road. She sees him in the window. Y'all stop fighting back there. They keep going at it. She has to pull over. Safety issue. Go to the back of the bus, get him, put one to the front and one to the back. Then sometimes they might still try to get up. So now, on a situation like that, we need to uphold our policy.
Yeah.
But Mr. Ware would already have that information from the bus driver, so I would know before even the parent even gives me a call. I mean, situations like that, I mean, you have to stick to your guns on stuff like that.
I ain't got no problem with that, but the petty stuff got to stop.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I'm saying. If not,
I mean, I think he'd give 2 or 3 days sometime for small stuff. You know?
Yeah. Well,
the
that's
principals don't know they have the discretion now. They need to know that before they go on holiday
Well,
break.
they will, if we approve this, they will know they have discretion. If there's an appeal, that they have some discretion to use.
I want to make sure I'm clear. I didn't say not do nothing. I want to support the bus driver, but I'm saying the penalty is too harsh.
So read your statement again, Dr. Banks.
Statement is, the school or district administration may use discretion when assigning bus suspension if there are mitigating circumstances.
And I would add for elementary students.
Mhm.
All right.
Got no problem with that.
Will y'all approve that amendment to the handbook tonight, or?
Yes. What's the motion?
Yes, right.
We want to, is this,
It's
said,
it's.
It's in the policy too. Yeah, y'all could
I
do
don't
it if
think
you
it's in
feel
the
like.
policy. It's not in the policy. It's
No,
just
I'm
in the
just saying
handbook.
it's in the handbook.
It's just handbook.
Make the motion to waive the 30-day, 2
no,
meetings.
we're not gonna wait for 30 days, we're gonna give the principal the discretion.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
y'all can
not a
vote, but
policy.
yeah, y'all can vote.
This is just a handbook amendment,
For K through 5.
amendment of the
He's talking
handbook.
about waive the 30-day on the table,
Yeah.
policy change.
But he said it's not the policy.
It's not a policy,
Right,
it's just a
right.
handbook.
Mr. Jowers just understood about when you said waive the 30 days.
Yeah.
It's a handbook rule, is what it is. we would
So
be
is it
amending
just for
the-
K through 5, or is it for any?
Just get.
Just elementary.
I make a motion that we amend the handbook K through 5 for the discipline on the bus.
As far as what he just read.
To allow, what did you just say?
The school or district administration may use discretion when assigning bus suspension if there are pending circumstances for elementary students.
Made a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Any against?
Thank you. And I want to be clear on that too, that it doesn't mean we're not going to suspend for 30 days if they're fighting on the bus. It just means that the principal will have the discretion
We'll be able to look.
to look at it.
Depending on what it
If they
is.
feel like
That's
there's
all
some
I'm saying.
mitigating circumstance, then they will be able to apply that to.
And if it gets to the point like.
They just don't need to undermine the bus driver.
Exactly. There better be a real reason
If it
why.
gets to the point where that's happening, we'll be able to change it back.
Yeah.
Maybe you can
Yeah.
change it.
That's right.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. Next on the agenda, we have the consent agenda. We have the minutes from the October meeting, and there was a question about a vote on those minutes, and
It was on page 6. Personnel recommendations. Personnel number 6 was approved on a 3-2 vote, but then when it lists how we voted, it's only got one yes vote, and everybody else no.
When you pull one out, then.
Yeah, but it's got everybody voting no with me except for Ms. Worrell.
well, it was approved unanimously up there, it says.
No, we keep reading, that was the
Yeah.
first part. And then
I got you. I got you.
It was a 3-2 vote,
Yeah.
but in the way you,
Yeah.
it's spelled out in the minutes,
Yeah.
not the way it's.
So we need to correct it with,
I think I should be on the no vote on the, I think it's gonna be on there.
we'll correct that on the minutes.
Well, the way it lists it at the bottom, that's just how Igor does it. That, I can't change that.
Yeah.
I can take it off.
You could change.
Yeah, but it says right there, up above it, it says that it was, personnel number 6 was approved on a 3-2 vote.
That's what I'm saying, I
Yeah.
didn't know if you need to
Yeah.
correct that or not.
No,
I
that,
can just, you want me to just take that off?
yeah, just take that off.
Because
That was all I
Igor
was
puts that
asking.
in there.
Yeah, that,
Because if you pulled up 2 years from now and look at it, you're gonna go,
yeah.
oh, well, we don't know what.
Well-
That's all I was asking, okay, that's fine.
That's why we'll just take that off. All right.
Oh.
Take it off like it didn't happen, or take it off like?
No, it's just on my road spelling, I still got the number up there.
All right.
That's why that's on.
All right. Baseball boosters came and presented earlier this evening, and the recommendation that was approved to put on the consent agenda was that the baseball boosters will be able to provide renovations on the batting cage as presented for pending approval of the city of Douglas, as the facility is jointly owned, and the batting cage renovations were discussed and approved for the consent agenda. Also, we approved putting the score box concession out for bid. We're going to put that out for bid, but that's just an informational item, and we'll see what the price of that is. But official action was allow them to move forward with improving that batting cage. Monthly financial reports, those were presented to the board. If you want to pull up the monthly financial report on for the month. Mr. Drehush, do you have that information in front of you? Can you read the fund balance into the record?
Yes, sir. Fund balance ending October 31 was $3,116,906.53.
Thank you. Out-of-state travel, we have 2 trips out of state. we have a group from West Green going to the Jacksonville Zoo. And we also have a group from West Side. Was it West Side?
West Green.
We've got West Green. It's not on this document that I'm showing right here on e-board. I just clicked on it. The one from the work session had 2 out-of-state trips. Had West Side. Let me go back to it.
Broxton and West Green.
Broxton is going to the Museum of Science and History in Jacksonville, Florida, and West Green is going to the Jacksonville Zoo. So we need to make sure we change that out and have the right attachment on e-board. All right. Thank you. And then we have the next item on the consent agenda is the technology bid.
Are we gonna table that?
No, the technology bid, we're asking for board approval. The equipment that'll be installed in the,
But did we vote on that?
no, it'll be on the consent agenda. It'll be approved on the consent agenda. And then that's the equipment to place in the Wiregrass building for the Career Academy.
$77,997.
And then on the consent agenda, I had a proposal to change the name of the Coffee College and Career Academy to Wiregrass Regional College and Career Academy, and to accept the purchase of services from Odyssey Ware in the amount of $20,000 to start up the virtual program.
I'd like to ask that one be pulled.
Yes, sir.
On that separate, please.
All right. The name change or just the Odyssey Ware piece?
Odyssey.
All right. All right. And then the state systemic improvement MOA. This is to be in compliance with the state. So that's the consent agenda.
And what do we do with anything? Do we do anything with the ladies that came about the wrestling? Or is that just going to be discussed at a later date?
We'll investigate it and see what we can purchase and what we have funds to purchase, and come back to the board next month. We do have a retreat coming up in 2 weeks. So hopefully we can have some more information then. All right.
Excuse me. Ms. World.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Lees. I think, in my opinion, that the wrestling organization can't be tonight. I think we don't need to wait that long, because the rumors on the street say we don't wait on that long. I think we need to get on this ASAP. You got enough staff.
Yes, sir.
To investigate that.
You should have it by the the retreat.
Yeah.
The weeks after.
That's right.
Because they have nothing.
They don't have
Absolutely
nothing. See, that's what I'm saying.
You can have it.
I went in that wrestling room last year and looked around, and it looked pretty nice. They had mats, they had padded over in the walls,
So
and they had mats.
They need more than that for
Oh,
them.
man.
So I wouldn't say they have nothing. I would
They
have.
have
to
old
disagree with
mats.
They got old mans. I've been in there too.
Mhm.
So what I'm saying to you, 2 weeks, that's a long time.
that. Yes, sir.
That list that she gave us, you got staff
Oh, I agree. I'm a little uncomfortable when somebody comes up unannounced. I've not talked with them, I've not
You ain't
met
talked
with them.
to
They give me, no, I'd never
Okay.
talk to them. And they give me a list and say, let's purchase this tonight. I'm just a
No,
little
I
uncomfortable.
ain't
doing
saying
business
No,
like
no, no,
that.
But I'm
No,
saying
no.
investigate,
Yes, sir.
quick.
Uh,
You gotta know, I ain't saying.
Yes, sir.
I ain't know they hadn't talked to you.
They had, well, somebody had discussed it with you too this week. They were told that.
I was told earlier today that there may be somebody coming, but I didn't know they were gonna do it.
Well, they were told that one of the coaches, or Randy Garrett or somebody had been calling, you had been talking with him.
Yeah, he told me about it today, but I didn't realize they were coming here tonight and we were gonna make a decision to go ahead and purchase. I'm just a little uncomfortable doing business like that.
I know,
All right.
but take your time, but don't take no 2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
It's residency.
All right. All right.
Well, I'm just gonna say this, I don't know why it hasn't been addressed before now, through the athletic department, because they're aware of what they do or don't have. And it just concerns me that if the baseball people have been needing things, or, that we have an athletic director, we have an assistant athletic director, that why aren't they sharing those needs with us? If people go to them with these things and they're told, that there's no money, that's not necessarily the truth. That there could possibly be some money. That's a concern of mine. We want to take care of all of the sports as fair as we can,
These
And
people here
I don't
tonight,
think.
were they parents or what?
Yeah, it's a group of mothers of, I guess, what do you call it, a booster club?
Parents?
Booster
Why-
club.
why-
And
why didn't,
it's actually embarrassing for our school system that they have to go out, and I found out about it on Facebook.
They shouldn't have to come to us to
No,
start with.
that's exactly
That-
right.
that's
That's what I'm
legislative.
saying. And, when I saw it on Facebook, I said something to them, and I said, bring it to the board. There is money. And, I don't think that it's right that parents or the community think that, that we're not supporting the other athletic programs, or that the people in charge of athletics aren't supporting the other
I don't
athletic
think
programs.
that's true at all. I think this is certainly something that is important and we need to look into, but we need to do our due diligence and not just have somebody come up.
Did they go to the athletic director with this?
I do not know. I'm not sure.
I was told that.
You don't know what his response?
We can talk about it.
Okay.
This is something that just came up in the last 24 hours, so.
Well, and that's what I'm not gonna get into, where they've been, because I don't know, but I'm with her, if it's something we need to purchase, we need to get it done.
Yeah.
If you wanna look into it this week to see what they got or what they need, that's fine, but it is, like she said, it is wrestling season, and if it's something we can take care of,
It
let's
should
try to
have
get
already
it,
been done.
let's try to get it done in the next couple of weeks and get that situated if we can.
I agree 100%. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda. So,
With the exception.
With the exception
yes,
of
we're going
E.
to discuss the Odyssey Web.
They gonna make that motion?
Make a motion that we approve it minus which one?
E,
E? No?
isn't it? It is, it's part of that.
Well, we're approving the name change.
Yeah, approve the name change.
Yeah.
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda without the Odyssey.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
All right, the Odyssey Ware proposal is a proposal from a vendor, Odyssey Ware, to provide support as we develop and implement this virtual component of the Career Academy. And now that we are the Wiregrass College and Career Academy, we have a regional name that allows us to expand out into other counties virtually, so that students in other counties could actually attend our Career Academy online through virtual instruction. So we need a vendor to partner with to help us make this happen. And the vendor that Scott has become their vendor of choice with the programs that they use is Odysseyware. So that's how this came about. We had a conference call with Odysseyware. Dr. Perrin and Dr. Evans sat in on that conference call. We met with some of our technology folks and discussed the Odysseyware in that conference call, and they responded back after we told them what we desired with this proposal to support us as we implement this virtual school program. So that's where the proposal came from. I just received it yesterday from the vendor, and we feel like this would be a worthwhile investment for our school system to develop a virtual component to the Career Academy.
Mr. Long, did you have a question?
I was just asking if there was a time constraint on this, because and we talked about this a little bit before, and I like the idea of it, but I do have some questions, how this is gonna work, and we're gonna be able to, I guess, the logistics of it. I mean, is this something that we've got to be moving on right this second, or are we just trying to get going on it, or?
Well, they were gonna send their trainers down in December. Go ahead and send trainers down and start work to train the staff.
Yeah.
And they were going to go ahead and start the marketing campaign and get the information out there with the start of the semester coming up in January. The new semester will start.
So that's what I'm asking. You're trying to get it done.
And trying to get everything in place so that when the new semester starts, we'll start picking up students in December and January to enroll.
Are they going through the vacation time to train, or there's?
No, I mean, they'll train them.
They're coming here to train them.
Yeah.
You sound like the folks with the, need the wrestling mats. Come up
Yes,
here out of nowhere wanting something.
We talked about these students, will get the FTE on that, but what's it gonna, I guess that's where I'm going, and I'm sure it won't be near as much as that, but do we have an idea what it's gonna take to run this thing as far as per student? I mean, what other expenses are we gonna have besides this software, and obviously we've got to have people teaching? What other expenses?
They
are-
just.
We'll use existing staff to deliver it. And there may be some expenses that we'll have to invest in. We may have to
I mean,
hire
we don't
some
have to
people.
pay them if it's extra stuff.
Yeah, but I'm saying
We may
outside
have
of
to-
staffing and the softwares or anything I'm not seeing right now, I don't want to, like say a few months now ago, we've got to have this, and this. I mean, is this pretty much the software and the
There may be some expenses that come up moving forward.
Well, I understand that, but I'm saying to run a cyber academy, whatever this is gonna be called, outside of the staffing and the software and stuff, generally speaking, is there anything else we would have to have besides that?
I wouldn't think so.
The only time those students would potentially have to come on campus would be to take a proctored exam or a lab, if they're entirely virtual.
So if they're a student of ours you could have somebody, I can't think, it's getting late, but if they signed up from Atlanta
Yeah.
and they had to come down here to take a test?
Well, no, we will send a proctor up to test, so there will be expenses like that. If we have 10 students in, let's say, Gwinnett that are enrolled and they have to take the state test, we may have to send somebody up to administer that test.
All right, let's get down to it like this. This is not gonna cost us any money.
Oh, it's gonna cost us money.
But I'm saying, when you're talking about the FTE, this is gonna be something that's gonna generate revenue, not
It has
cost us.
potential to generate revenue for us. And not generate revenue, generate funding.
That's what I'm saying, I don't wanna get into it and we're spending money to do this. I mean, if we're spending money to educate people in Atlanta, but if you're telling me we can do this, provide this, and be able to pay for itself, and maybe even generate extra, that's a whole different.
Yeah, we wouldn't be doing this if we thought we were gonna be investing in educating kids in other counties.
That's
It
what
wasn't gonna benefit Coffee County.
That's what I'm
In
saying.
the long
This is-
run, it's gonna benefit Coffee County because they will be enrolled in our school system, and we will generate funding in the state formula
And that's
for our
what
school
I'm
system.
asking, that's what.
Yes, sir.
Is this the software that they're using with the people that you've been talking to about, with their virtual program?
They use K-12 software, which is
Then why,
another.
what is it about this system that is better than what they're using?
They've already got an agreement, K-12 does, with those school systems that they work with, and they're not gonna send any students to us, K-12 would. They're sending students to those that they already have agreement with. What we're trying to do is develop an agreement with Odyssey where, so that when a student goes to their website, clicks on their website to attend a virtual high school, they will be sent to the Wiregrass Regional College and Career Academy. And
But if we signed up with K-12, they wouldn't.
they've
send them
already
there?
got agreements with
Others.
other schools. For example, the Vidalia Cyber Academy, they have around 1,500 students enrolled.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
I think Mr. Preston has been trying to say something for about 15 minutes.
I don't know if this will work. But what I've heard in roundtable after roundtable when we're together is we don't ever try anything new.
Yeah, you do. You tried a 3-tier bus schedule, how much money did that save?
This
That didn't work.
There you go.
I'm giving everybody else their time, I'm taking mine.
Go ahead.
Without being interrupted, I'm
Go
sorry
ahead.
about that.
Go ahead.
I think it's an opportunity. We've had the people that actually run the school here tonight, excited about it. Miss Cindy Smith was about to come out of her chair wanting it done. But Scott was here tonight. $20,000 investment is not a lot to risk to see if something will work. And benefit our kids, benefit our school system, and be something that has the potential dynamic to change how education is distributed to kids in our community and surrounding communities. You know,
We're gonna work.
if we could run,
I'm
I'm sorry, here I go again, I'm
talking to
sorry.
myself.
But you're making noise above and beyond what I've got the opportunity to speak, Squirrel. If we have the opportunity to run buses to other counties and bring kids here, I think their parents would jump on that opportunity. We've got great facilities, we've got great people that work in our schools and take care of our kids. This is no different. This is just being able to get online and come into our school system, and it's not a lot to risk to try it. I'm excited about it. So, thank y'all for giving me 3 minutes.
You can have some more if you need.
I'm good.
You sure?
I do.
I don't want you to be hurt now.
I'm not.
Okay. I don't like last minute stuff. I thought we already had this discussion here a while back.
Yes, sir.
About our agenda getting it to us on Mondays and not adding stuff to it.
Well, we can take it.
Well, I think what Mr. Lawton was trying.
Well, I
Find out if
pretty
we
much
can
got
table
my
it.
questions answered. I mean, I'm fine with voting on it.
Well, I thought it was something we had talked about. We've talked about the cyber school before, and in some side conversations.
And we have, I just want to make sure if we were going to go ahead and spend the money that I was right on my thinking about this thing, and that was that number one, it wasn't going to cost us money. Outside of the investment, stuff like that eventually, the hopes that it would generate money. I was trying to make sure that there weren't other things that I didn't know that we hadn't talked about. I like the idea. I just want to make sure that if we're going to do it, that I know what I'm doing.
Well, we feel like it'll benefit the school system. I wouldn't be asking y'all to do it if it wasn't going to be, and ultimately benefit the students. And so that's what this is all about.
Question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Dr. Lees, how much FTE do we earn?
Under the old formula, an FTE would be approximately 3,000 a student. So,
So we get 1,000 kids.
it'd be $3 million. And then we would have to, take out the expense of operating the program. Let's say if you spend half of that operating the program, you still, and as a school system, we can either continue to watch our enrollment decrease, and we can continue to watch our enrollment stay flat, but it's actually decreasing, or else we can look for ways to increase our enrollment. And we see this as a way to increase our enrollment in our school system. So that's why I'm excited about pursuing it is we'll actually be growing. We can either stay on the vine and die, or else we can look for ways to grow, and I think this is a way to grow.
Well,
Mr. Johnson?
I'm gonna say it like this. Just like every time you touch something, it turn to gold. One exception, Mr. Job said, in the near future, get it to us in the early. But I let that deal, I make a motion that we accept that Odyssey.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Just one. As I scrolled down through, and I'm sorry I wasn't here on time earlier when y'all went down through the funding formula, but as I was scrolling down through here, when you get down to the charter school system, there's the Georgia Cyber Academy. Completely online virtual school. Is that correct? 13,659 students are enrolled in that school, and they're going to receive $81 million to run a virtual school.
How many students is the friend of yours that has one?
About 1,500 students,
1,500. And how long have they had it?
2 years, 3 years.
They may have some other stuff, but that Georgia Cyber Academy.
That's the big one in the state.
And that's the one that K-12 partners with. K-12 is through Georgia, but then they're overrun. They've got an agreement that once they fill up that Georgia site, they're sending them to this person that I'm talking about, his school system. They're sending those students that sign up, and when they're full, they send them to that other school system. So
Well,
that's
does
the
this
kind
work
of
the same
arrangement. We're hoping we can build that kind of arrangement with Odysseyware. That if people go to them to enroll in a cyber academy, they're going to send them to us.
So we don't know that.
Well, that's what this agreement is about. They're going to put a link on their website that will link to our career academy. So we'll be a partner with them to deliver virtual education in the state of Georgia. And I'm not sure how this will work, how it will go. I mean, it's not, but, you know, there's not a lot of school systems who are successfully doing this because it's new. And so our thought is let's get into it now, and hopefully we'll be successful with it and be a leader in this part of the state with this type of activity. Because Wiregrass College's service area goes from Lowndes County to Cook County to Ben Hill to Irwin to Coffee. It covers about a 10-county area, and we will be hopefully the cyber academy of choice in that 10-county area is the thought.
Mr. Preston?
Not only do I believe we've got the infrastructure, technological infrastructure here with the bandwidth and everything else to handle virtual academy, but if the potential's there for our people in our system to have to take on additional roles and earn additional income, that's pretty exciting at the academic level. I mean, if that opportunity becomes something where it's large enough that we have to take over those roles and we offer extended day or we offer extended year based on, we offer a flexible schedule for some students. I'm sure that's part of this whole cyber academy, is it may not be on a traditional 180-day school year. I don't think you're risking a lot.
Well, you're talking about the investment right here. If we get 5 kids enrolled at that, so that's covering your investment. So I don't see, we're talking about hundreds of kids like then, 5 of them. Anyway.
Any other discussion? All right. All in favor? All those against?
All right. Thank you. The next item on the agenda is executive session. We need to move to executive session to discuss personnel, and I would ask that we move to executive session to discuss personnel.
Make a motion to move to executive session, personnel.
Second.
All those in favor?
Make a motion, we come out of the executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
approve personnel as presented, in addition of number 8.
Make a motion we approve with addition number 8.
Second.
All in favor?
All right. And that's all the personnel that we have tonight, so.
Does that include the substitute? Do we have to do anything?
That does,
Yeah.
yeah, that includes the substitute.
Okay.
I consider that to be the personnel as presented, the substitute teachers. Yes, sir. All right. And that's all I have for the board tonight.
You
So
don't have an announcement?
announcement as far as
Number
the,
8?
Personnel?
oh, yes. The number 8 is Dr. Bernie Evans is our new Assistant Superintendent. Dr. Evans, we welcome you aboard as the new Assistant Superintendent. Yes, ma'am. And we just look forward to having you in that capacity. We know you're going to do great things like you always have.
Speak.
I'm humbled, I really am, I appreciate it, appreciate the opportunity.
You do good, buddy.
Thank you, I'll try.
You did a good start by not making
It's a little late.
All right.
Any other business? Any remarks?
Oh, yeah.
I know Mr. Johnson wants to say
I
something.
always keep a remark, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman. I would like to say, on tomorrow, I celebrate my 33rd anniversary with my wife. Happy anniversary, baby.
God bless you.
I love her. I love everybody. That's all I got.
Anyone else?
Go Trojans.
Yes, I would add that we will have the home playoff game tomorrow night. Coffee will be hosting Kell out of Cobb County. So we hope everybody comes out and supports the Trojans. And also I'd like to thank our teachers and our faculty and staff at all of our schools. This is National Education Appreciation Week, so we want to appreciate all of our staff and all of our faculty at all of our schools for everything that they do, our bus drivers, everybody that's involved with working with our children, including our Board of Education. Thank you, Board of Education members, for your commitment to our school system. And then last, I would like to announce that the board will be attending the Georgia School Board Association conference at the Cobb Galleria. And on December 3rd, we will have a retreat at 1:30 that afternoon at the Cobb Galleria. So I did want to announce that our board will be attending the GSBA conference where we will retreat. So just wanted to make that announcement.
I'd like to say one more thing, Mr. World. Today, my heart just felt so good to see all the parents come out and eat with the kids at school. I mean, it was everywhere. I ate over the east side with my grandboys, and I had 2 lunch. That's why I'm eating them tonight. I had one at 10:25 and one at 11:35. So I had to eat with both of them.
Brunch and lunch.
That's right. I enjoyed it too. I think the administration over there do a great job, and the teachers. They're so pleasant. I enjoyed it. I don't know how many kids we got over there, but I know how many parents with had cars on both sides of the road.
That's great.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
All right.
All right.